A couple days ago, several of Tesla's patents and inventions were revealed. So first, Tesla filed 4 patents, all related to a wireless charging mat that cars can now drive over and will automatically start charging. Many people are saying this is in preparation for the upcoming Robotaxi. Second, in another patent that was unveiled, we've now discovered more details about exactly how Tesla's revolutionary new unboxed process for making cars is being done. Third, there's apparently a software update about to be sent to all Tesla vehicles that will support a new invention, smart child seats. These smart child seats will alert you if a child is left behind. Fourth, the CEO of electric vehicle maker Rivian was interviewed recently, and he explained how he had to make the tough choice not to copy Tesla's brilliant strategy of going to mass market. And finally, Tesla executive Dan Priestley gave an update on the Tesla semi-truck factory. Today, we are joined by Jeff Lutz. He's the ex-CVP of Supply Chain and Chief Quality Officer, and now he's the CEO of his own supply chain consulting firm. Thank you so much for joining me, Jeff.
Hey, Herbert, plenty of fun stuff to chop up here. A lot of innovative stuff. It's really good.
You know, exactly. This is what you and I love about Tesla, right? Products, business model, new inventions, new innovations. And so before we even get to the new patents, this was a nice reply by Elon. He's talking about Autopark in Cybertruck. So Omar said, the first Tesla pure vision Autopark on the Tesla Cybertruck. I'm very impressed. So cool to see the Cybertruck wheel moving on its own for the first time. I'm going to show that. Before I do, Elon said, we should change that so the yoke is stationary as it is not mechanically coupled to the wheels. Same goes for when it is on autopilot. So they're just keep inventing. This is the video.
First test of Vision Autopark on the Cybertruck. This is the first time I've ever seen the Cybertruck move its wheel on its own. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, well, we don't have to watch the whole thing. You have a Cybertruck yourself. Are you playing with this? And what do you think about Elon's like constantly trying to improve, make things better?
Yeah, I'm waiting for this release. But yeah, the Cybertruck's very easy to drive and it's very easy to park actually. But, you know, we've been missing the sensors. We've been missing some of this capability that's in the other vehicles. So this is the Cybertruck catching up to capability that's in the, you know, S3 XY today. It's much needed, and it's great to see. It is strange though to see, you know, that in a very large vehicle, you know, it basically driving itself and navigating into a spot. So it's exciting. It's really on the trajectory of the Cybertruck getting full self-driving capability here, hopefully soon. It's already, if you've driven a Cybertruck or if you've been on one, it's a very smooth ride. It's very easy to drive. It's very easy to maneuver. And, you know, so now that it will have autonomous driving, it, you know, supervised in the beginning, I think it's just going to take it to a whole new level. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let's take a look at the next the big story, of course, is all the patents. So there's a number of patents that was dropped this weekend. And a number of them is associated with the wireless charging. So this was revealed ahead of the Robotaxi unveiling event, which is 10/10. Some people are saying this is it's looking like this is going to be adopted by a wireless charging system. So I'd like to know if you think the same thing. And Sawyer said that 4 patents were dropped and revealed to the public related to a wireless charging mat for vehicles. Something in this mat is something you will drive your car over, it'll automatically start charging. While it's not clear what Teslas will use this, is it going to be the Robotaxi or not? We don't know, but it talks about temperature sensors and applications for wireless charging, shorting switch to reduce ground leakage and inductive charging, wireless charging circuit topology, parameter estimation for wireless charging. I'm not sure this is necessarily new information from what we've already seen in the past about this mat. The 4 patents were published yesterday, but filed earlier this year. What's your thinking about these patents? Are this anything new here, or why did they just drop this now?
Yeah, we've got to look at obviously these things were filed some period of time ago, but what you try to do is you try to get them through the process and get them out as at least provisional and you want to get these through the process before you do any major, product unveils. Yeah, and so I do find it interesting that, a month before the 1010 event, that you're starting to see this flurry of activity. I don't know if they've gone through the system, they've gone further through the system, and have been approved, or I have to do a little bit more research on them. But these are exciting. These are all the steps to autonomy. And if we've looked at the Cybertruck battery teardown. There was a port coming out of that battery for basically the wireless charging receptacle. Excuse me. So, Tesla is definitely looking at this technology. They acquired a company called Wiferian. They kept some of their assets. They moved out some of them as well. So wireless charging is, if you look at all the technology out there today, in just, again, phones, AirPods or earbuds, just a number of different devices that have been traditionally plugged in over the last 10 years, you're seeing more and more of them move to wireless charging. Wireless charging is improving. The cost structure is improving. The performance is improving. The problems of the past around, heat dissipation and loss of efficiency they get better every single cycle. So with that in mind, if you kind of envision, just look 5 or 10 years into the future, you're going to be plugging less and less things into the wall, and you're going to be doing wireless charging on most things in your life. So I believe the vehicle will be part of that solution, but there's some innovation that needs to be involved to do it efficiently, to do it reliably, to do it repeatably. So there's definitely some work involved to do that.
Okay, good. So thanks for that comment and that experience that you have. So many people, and I say, this is just a patent. Yeah, companies always send out patents, but you're saying sometimes the patent that is revealed before a big presentation, it's the way to say, hey, these things are coming out now so that we can solidify as we roll it out and present it to the world. So that's very interesting info. We're going to talk about the unboxed model because that was also a patent that they revealed. But this wireless charging looks like this particular patent is, the standard one that we've seen, right? Which is right underneath the car, and there's a pad that you drive over, and that's what you'll be able to get. So this is an example of a charger, and then you got the mat underneath here. I don't know if you can see that mat underneath there. In this case, it's behind the car, maybe just for you to see it. But I do think that actually, my belief is it's going to be at the front of the car. You remember how Elon said that we might be able to get a couple things coming in before 1010? I think this could be it, right? Some sort of charging system that they can show you that's ready to go. And I would think that it's in the front of the car, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it could still be in the middle. Doesn't really matter to me, because the reason I say that is he said that I made a decision to make a design change in the front of the car. So the other parts of this patent was parameter estimation for wireless charging. I think this is adapting to variations in wireless charging systems, improving efficiency and safety. So an example of wireless charging environment with a sender component positioned on a floor to charge a vehicle shows a block diagram of the center component, including a sender coil and various, I don't know what that all means, but basically here's the wireless charger at the front. Okay, the other patent that was unveiled this weekend, again, they all came out, was the unboxed process.
Hey, Herbert, just one thing before we close that.
Yeah.
There's a connection of all these things that Tesla's doing. So for example, you see the calendar integration in your car. Why are they interested in the calendar integration in your car? Well, they're trying to figure out if you've got a meeting that's in a different location than where your car is physically at today. So is there some sort of self-heating that they should be doing on the battery to make it wirelessly charge fast? Should it charge? Should it look at your next destination, figure out how many miles are in the car, and just start autonomously charging for you, so you're not thinking about these things? So this is they basically set up, like, what are all the input variables that are important? They start with what end state will look like. Let's say it's 5 years from now. Let's say it's 7 years from now, where your car will know when to charge, how much to charge, and you're not going to have to even think about charging. Right now, you have to think about charging when you own an EV. And when they survey people, one of the top dissatisfaction drivers is like, okay, where am I going to charge? I have to think about charging. I have this charging anxiety. They start with end state, and then they start filtering in all these different variables along the way, and eventually there's a connection made between these variables. So I see them. For this example, I see calendar integration, and I see them figuring out basically how to do autonomous charging. So it's just a pad. It's where you park your car, and it just does it when you need it. And when you don't need it, it doesn't do it, and it's perfectly conditioning the battery.
I love that, Jeff. That's the first time I heard this. You giving me this idea that the calendar integration, which I don't bother, right? In my car right now, the Tesla, I could integrate my calendar so that it knows that, but what's the point? But if I'm actually doing Robotaxi and I'm willing to let my car go, if the car knows that I'm booked until 11 a.m., then, and I'm doing it from home, then go ahead. But come back when I need to go drive somewhere and I booked it that I need to be driving somewhere. It knows that. That's brilliant. And then, of course, like you say, it might even know when to go charge and when not to. I love it, Jeff. That's brilliant. Today's topic is all about the technology innovations that Tesla's doing. And as one that we all kind of go, oh, yeah, it's cool, but it's not great. But it all comes together, doesn't it? So this unboxed model was the big one that everybody really was shocked to find out that they were doing, because they've completely reinvented how to build a car. Now, instead of it going through a production line, step by step, add to it, they're going to have multiple parts assembled separately, and then they're connected together. There's going to be a front part, a center part, a rear part, even the left side, the right side. All of them develop separate lines, and then they're just put together later. And they're saying that this is much faster. They revealed this patent, and very detailed. I mean, it's ridiculously long. I've got every page here, but I'm not going to go through it. This image shows the side and top views of the section of a pickup truck to be joined according to the vehicle architecture. The assembly and the unbox, the parallel manufacturing of that's how they can be faster, because you can do parallel manufacturing. And then the sections can each be connected almost like a Lego, right? Using bolts and without welding, painting sections before final assembly. That's a brand new innovation there. And you can show how they're going to be connected together as they connect the car together. This is the unboxed model. They just put everything, slap it together, and they're connected together like, again, Lego. And what this does is it lets you create different kind of vehicle configurations. You can have a vehicle with more middle inserts to it, front underbody, rear underbody, left and right side sections, center section. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. What's your thoughts about all of this?
Yeah, there are parallels in other industries. So there's a parallel for smartphone and tablet manufacturing, which many believe will be the primary scale up to building humanoids would be from that. And there are parallels, just like Tesla is applying for patents, process related patents, maybe some IP in there as well around the process that they're going for. But this is modular assembly versus kind of one piece flow assembly. This is something that's discussed, debated, and done different ways in other industries as well. So I can see them applying for these patents as it relates to the auto industry and the assembly of a vehicle. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to actually look at the factory from a volumetric perspective versus just area. And you can see in some of the diagrams that they're actually using a lot more of the Z height of the factory. You think of a factory as X and Y, the length and width, but you also see the Z height element of as well. So they want to use more of the area. So there's, your greater efficiency. One of the big variables you're looking at in terms of factory efficiency is that output per square meter, in this case, per cubic meter, that they can start looking at and figuring out, can they actually condense the X, Y of the factory and use more of the Z, and basically now start optimizing for volumetric metric. The second thing that they're optimizing for is total process time. So in a modular assembly flow, final assembly can be faster, But what you have to look for, if you own the entire cost structure to build the vehicle, you have to look for at the efficiency of the modular assembly itself. So there's always this debate of, should you do everything more in kind of a serial one-piece flow, or should you modularize it? And there's a lot of variables. This could be a lengthy discussion to go through all those variables. But it's true that the system level assembly could be done with greater speed and greater efficiency. But you really, from a cost perspective, when you're looking at COGS, you have to look at the efficiency of building the individual modules. And could you do that more efficiently versus doing that in line? So it's not a free lunch per se, because there was cost that went into making the modules themselves. But what this could potentially allow for is greater flexibility and not having dedicated lines where you can do more product changeover. So it's not a Model 3 line, it's not a Model Y line, it's an unboxed line. And in the unboxed line, the modules that come in a parallel manner dictate the model of that vehicle. And the actual system level assembly is more genericized, it's ubiquitous. And that is what you're really going for in the unboxed model.
Take a look at this, Jeff. So this couple of the figures are very interesting. So this one, they explained the process, right? So prior to this, they actually say each section is going to go through its own own thing, right? They take the raw material, they die cast it, stamp it, they machine it, they join it, they coat it, they even paint it, each section. Then they will take the front section and they'll attach it to the center. And look at this. It says roughly 100 millimeters position. It's like perfect positioning. Just connect, snap it together. Then you connect the rear. Then you assemble the final, all the bolts to connect everything together. You assemble it together. You put the left and right sides, and then you go test it. So simple. I have a prediction that for the Robotaxi, that the front and the rear will be the same thing. They'll be the same part, the same thing. And then you can add different middle parts to make it longer if you wish to, like a limousine if you want to. But yeah, that's how what they're showing here is very interesting. Then they add the other parts to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, these things, they've been working on this for a number of years. And I think what the listeners should take away is, this is not just a new line in the factory. Like they're going to need all those other module areas to do module assembly and getting those modules staged and ready to go into manufacture. So this is going to change the entire flow of manufacturing. It's going to change the length of the system of the general assembly area. It's going to change it. And so it's going to be, I think, less of a length kind of thing and more of, again, a volumetric aspect. So they should be able to get more output out of the factory if they do this well and they do it properly. And this is a big change. This is, when you think about Tesla, when it was Fremont and Shanghai only, and that assembly process and that method, and then you look at what it took to bring up Austin and then Berlin, and then now you're going to make this shift to unboxed. This is going to be just a complete change to how they're doing it today. So I think one of the things people need to keep in mind is Tesla is trying to put a very low cost vehicle through this, a very high volume vehicle through this, the compact, and they're going to need a significant amount of ramp runway to get these issues resolved, get these problems dealt with. This is why I love the decision of these interim first half vehicles that are going to be using the modules from the unboxed processed in a serial assembly flow Model 3, Model Y type line process. This allows Tesla to de-risk many of the modules that will be used in unboxed. So when you're doing unboxed, it's not going to be new modules, new assembly process. It's going to be proven modules, new assembly process, much reduces the risk significantly, and it brings those modules to scale faster, gets all the quality issues worked out faster, so that you've got a clean set of modules for the compact, which has to be a much steeper ramp. Probably the steepest ramp in Tesla's history will be that vehicle.
Jeff, you're going to love this, okay? Just what you said 10 minutes ago made me realize something about this next story. And it's very, it made me go, okay, so let's watch this. Okay, the next story is about this new technology that Tesla seems to be announcing here, which is smart child seats. Okay, this is going to be a software update, but it looks like you have to buy these smart child seats, and the smart child seats will alert you when you leave a child behind. So I'm assuming it's some sort of Bluetooth or some sort of way to know if there's a weight being put in there, still in there or not. What made me think about this now after you said this was this could be the same technology that they use for Robotaxi. Like maybe they're able to tell you if there's a person in this seat, that seat, how many people are in there? Is somebody sleeping still in the car? I mean, I guess you can just use the cameras, but maybe you can use the same technology for that too.
Yeah, I believe so. If this is if this is a piece of hardware, it will have some set of sensors, Bluetooth, low energy. It will have things, because I think this is something, as a parent, when you buy this, you can't have any failure. Like, it has to be perfect. So if I'm Tesla, what I'm doing is I'm running a vision system in shadow mode, and I'm implementing these seats. So I mean, Tesla is very family oriented. Elon, very family oriented, wants to eradicate this tragic problem of children being left in warm vehicles and either undergoing serious injury or worse. And same for animals. That's where dog mode came from, and so forth. But I believe, again, Tesla, you can't, it's 0 ppm. Like, you can't have any failure. So get the hardware solution out, have it available if that is indeed a hardware solution. But I believe they'll be running a vision system in parallel. And what they'll do is they'll try to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of situations where they can look at the vision output and what did the vision system say? Was there somebody in the vehicle or not? And then compare it to the hardware data coming from the seat. And once they get it to a point where this, the vision system is 100% efficacy, then they can just release this functionality and have it be available for people. Maybe still offer the seat if they want that added security. But I think Tesla is going to want to solve this in computer vision ultimately.
Right. Brilliant. Omar is suggesting that if there's a child detected inside, you'll want to make sure that the climate, right? Obviously, the number of deaths, and somebody leaves the child inside and then it's like 100 degrees out there, you want to reduce that. But this could also apply to Robotaxi, right? So if you we've already reported in the past that they're going to take the Robotaxi to these self-cleaning centers and they're going to wash the inside, sterilize the inside. Well, you don't want to do that. There's a living animal in there, a child or a human still inside there. You want to do self-cleaning to make sure it's clean. And then just charging. I just
think at the end of every ride, there will be some computer vision scan of what does a blank, virgin vehicle look like, and then what is the current state of the vehicle. If there's anything left, it will try to identify it. And if it's, I think from there they'll have to develop the logic behind, is it something important? Is it just a napkin from their pocket, or is it something more critical?
All right, that's why I love covering Tesla. It's all these new products, these new innovation, technology, and then they all comes together like you're saying. So other car companies who are trying to create electric vehicles, they're trying to copy Tesla, of course. Here you've got the Rivian CEO. He was interviewed and he explained why he decided to take a different approach than what Tesla did when they introduced their car for mass market, the plan to get to mass market. And he said it's brilliant, but we couldn't copy what they did because it's sort of different times, different scenario. So the Rivian CEO, RJ Scaringe, was interviewed, and he knew his company would inevitably be compared to Tesla for good reason. So in a recent podcast, he explains how it did this. So the way that Tesla did it was, famously, they released a very high-priced roadster, supercar. I guess it's not considered a supercar, but a very high price.
Sports car, two-seater.
Sports car. Yeah, sports car. Priced it to sell the rich and famous, $100,000. And then you take that, small numbers, only a small number of people can afford it, but it's expensive. Take that money, build the next thing, the Model S and Model X, and then take that money and build the mass market Model 3. And that's how they made it through, and that's how they went mass market. Scaringe said that, that was a very good strategy, but we can't copy that. Different times, he commended Tesla for its leadership and how they'd be able to do this. So what he said was this: a logical place to start is build a sports car, use it to build the brand, then following the sports car, follow with more mass market vehicles. And that was, of course, how Tesla's strategy played out. And it worked wonderfully well for them. We were starting in a similar logic space to say, build a sports car. Then I realized somebody's done that already, and they've done it well with Tesla. So to pivot to a completely different type of product, experience, vehicle topology was a very intentional effort to also create a new story for not only use us as a company or us as a brand, more importantly, help shift mindsets around sustainable transportation could look like. So Rivian, of course, went after the Adventurer. They've got their trucks and their SUVs. What do you think about that comment by Scaringe?
I just think it's a confusing article. The ASP, someone could check this, but I looked at it last quarter, a few quarters ago. It's $91,000 for Rivian. So it's not like, so if the if the Roadster is 98,000, their ASP is 91,000. So they're doing a high end truck. So it's true, they picked the segment that no one else is in, which was at scale the pickup truck, and then now they've kind of made this lifestyle SUV, and they did go after a different brand, this Inventure brand, but it's a hype. They're over 90,000. It's not like they really started in a dramatically different manner. The one that's in trouble is, I think, doing this high end sedan, the Lucid. I think they're a little bit more in trouble because there are high end sedans out there. You have the choice of a Tesla Model S. You have a choice of a very nice vehicle, the Porsche Taycan. I think the Model S is better with full self-driving and so forth, but you have two very nice choices, and then you have Lucid. So that when you're trying to be a startup, you want to go into, you ever heard the term red ocean, blue ocean? Red ocean is everybody's in there swimming and killing each other. You want to be in more of a blue ocean. So pickup truck segment. I think Rivian's made some very good decisions. The challenge for them is getting that cost structure down, because the cost structure Tesla had when they were making a Roadster, their $98,000 Roadster, versus the cost structure that Rivian has making this $91,000 set of SUVs, are two dramatically different things. And they've got to get their costs under control before they go to scale, or they're going to be in there's going to be some serious concerns.
I just love it that people appreciate what Tesla's been able to do. So Tesla's, Elon specifically, it's not just technology, but it's also the business model. And that was the brilliant business model that played out exactly the way he hoped it would. And it worked. We're here, mass market. So other car companies are trying to do something the same. The latest one too is Tesla semi-executive dropped by the factory build-out site, and he posted a cool update. So this is Senior Manager Dan Priestley. Short update on the Class 8 all-electric production near Giga, Nevada. The speed of the semi-factory is not at the pace of larger projects like Giga Shanghai. At least it's coming together. So Dan Priestley posted this, checking in on factory progress. And I got a little short video here as well. Zanegler. I think it's from his page. So it's happening.
They're roughing out the perimeter. They have a lot of work to do. So this is the thing with the Semi, is you can't just build a Semi and put them out there. You need the charging infrastructure. You need them to solve the fleet operation aspect of this. So there's a number of things. So they've basically been in this long joint development and test cycle to get this thing right, because when you start scaling, these things are more expensive to build. And when you start scaling these things, you want to make sure that your endpoint from a demand perspective is both built up, healthy, and really set up and ready to go. The worst thing they could do is put a truck out there and not have the gigawatt charging infrastructure for it. The worst thing they could do is not have the fleet operation software up and going. So there's all these things that Tesla has to do. And by the way, while those things are being done, they can improve the efficiency of the engines, of the electric motors, they can improve the battery. There's a number of things they can do to make a better product as well in the background. So I would say this is not going at the pace that has been promised recently in the past, but I also think that they're encountering like, hey, this is actually a much bigger undertaking to do this and to do it the right way. And then guess what will be coming right after that is autonomy and trucking. pretty exciting future.
Robo trucking. Yeah. Thank you
Yep.
to Zenegler, Henrik Zane. It's his video that we just showed there. But the reason I added this story is because we're talking about Tesla innovations and patents. And this was one of those things that everybody said was impossible. You cannot create a long range, short haul, long haul, just a semi. You can't do a semi. The physics won't make it happen, is what Bill Gates once said, right?
Yeah.
It's
going to happen.
Here that it's working. Again, Elon starts with technology, and then they make sure that they can make it happen. So this is great. Thank you for your thoughts on all this, especially the manufacturing. This is a space that you know so well, Jeff. Thank you for giving your feedback there. Follow him on X at the Jeff Lutz. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks, everyone.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.